Welcome back. We're finally on number 5. Use Alchemy. Sorry about that. Time for a new song, methinks. By alchemy, I don't mean turning lead into gold. I'm talking about the drawing program, which is open source, you get from al.chemy.org. And at first look, it looks like any other drawing program, but with a real simple interface. You start drawing, and it's nothing hardly. I mean, it's just, wow, I'm drawing. But what this program is really meant to do is give you a visual way to brainstorm. There's no undo and no eraser. So you can't change something that you drew. You can only clear it. So I'm going to show you an example of, I was messing with this the other day, and I accidentally came up with a volcano logo. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to change it from line to fill, and I'm just going to draw my little volcano lava cone drip part of it, just for the heck of it. And then I'll draw some smoke coming out of it. Alright, so there's that. Now, one of the features that you can activate is smooth. So you go over the top of it and it smooths it out. Kind of cool. Especially for the very beginning of your logo design, So then you would export this as an SVG and bring it into Inkscape to clean it up or whatever. But that's just using it as a normal drawing program. What you can do with Alchemy is draw in ways that are, change it back to line, draw in ways that are kind of randomized, so you end up with a bunch of weird things like this. See how it's drawing not where my cursor is? It's like avoiding the cursor. So it ends up making lines that I didn't mean to draw. So now what it looks like I've made, whoops, I had the smooth still on, so it was making it smooth. So now what it looks like I've made is like a whale, right? There's his fluke for his tail. And there's his head. Maybe this is his mouth, or maybe a splash right here. So now I've accidentally created a scene for a whale. Pretty interesting. You can, I like to use the ribbon shapes to make a better forms when I'm making something like a person or something. See, I can kind of control where the lines go, but they're still randomized. So what I'm going to do next is kind of show you how I would do a character design if that's the kind of art that I made, which I don't. So now it does a mirror effect, and that's pretty interesting. Clear that guy out. And let's go to Pull Shapes. And what Pull Shapes does is it grabs a bunch of pictures from a PDF files that are included with Alchemy. So you can see that's like, I don't know what that thing is. Looks like a skull for a bird or something. And there's like fish body right there. So it's all random. You get some interesting effects here. And now what I'm basically doing is trying to make a little character. So I've made kind of a humanoid body shape with it. Now you need to give him a head. Okay, that's interesting. So his shoulders are way too high here, so we'll just fill that in a little bit more. And it kind of looks like he may have like a fox's head or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in with the ribbon shapes, like I said, a little bit more definition of what the arms would be. And I'll give him just like a lobster claw, just for the heck of it. That's pretty cool. Look at that. And his torso needs to be defined a little. There we go. And I'm going to make it so that his helmet looks like he's got big old horns coming out of it. Like that. Yeah. Now he looks like he's ready for battle or something. So then what I would do is export this into another drawing program that I could do the finishing touches on. and I'll show you some examples of what other people have done that are better artists than I am. But you're basically able to come up with all these details that are randomized, and it just, the whole thing is all happy accidents, which is interesting, fun to play with. So let's clear that guy out right here, and let's go to, say, type shapes. Type shapes makes these squiggles. I don't really like to use it too much, but it does accidentally come up with some interesting, there's a fish. Maybe export that and use it for something. Here is something I thought looked like a speeder that I made one time. So if I were to design a speeder, I could design it off of this squiggly that I got out of Alchemy. I don't use this one, like I said, very much. But X shapes I really like. I don't like splatter shapes too much, but you can play with all of these effects as much as you want. Okay. Face. That kind of looks like an ant face or something. Some kind of a bug. Then if I was to put the pull shapes on top of there, then I'd get a bunch of detail. You can change the sizes of these things too, look. Now my pull shapes are much bigger, and I get a lot more random stuff going on. So the whole point is to visually brainstorm what it is that you're doing. Let's clear this. And I'm going to change the, whoops, I'm going to take the mirror off, clear this, and say displace. And I think I like to use X shapes when I do that. See, the displace is, as you drag it, it expands outward, making an interesting effect. And as you're looking at it, maybe you see something happening in here. This looks like maybe it's a tongue coming out of a mouth or something. So anything that you're able to randomly generate by playing with it, and it inspires you to make some scene, a character, a ship, or any of that, that's essentially what this program is for. I got these examples right off of the Alchemy website, and it's pretty clear that the conceptualizing was done in Alchemy, and then it was just cleaned up in Photoshop or GIMP or something. I may continue this series if millions of people demand that it continues. Until then, have a great day, and thank you for watching.